Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hello, hello. By the way, Artemis 2 is going to be making their flyby by the moon today. So I guess they've done their round the world slingshot gimmick. And now they're getting ready to fly by the moon. The dark side of the moon.
The dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. Is there anybody out there? That's from Dark Side of the Moon.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Ground control to Major Tom.
All right, let's not just.
Yeah, let's not go through all that stupid junk.
Joe says 99.5 all day at CMV Fab. Shout out to, let's give a round of applause to CMV Fab for being all day listeners.
Yes.
How about that? Shout out to my CMV people. Scott says JB blew up the airport. It's a wonder he didn't get arrested for terrorism. Well, since TSA has been defunded, they didn't have time to go get him. So
I made a quick exit, and Andrew was waiting for him with the car warmed up.
I was, and I was talking to Trish, and I was like, we should actually leave and go park somewhere where we could watch him because, there's a parking deck just to the left. And I was like, if we can get in that parking deck in time.
Oh, man, that's cruel.
And be able to just watch him and video him as he comes out and looks for the car. She does that to me all the time, by the way. If I go in a store, she'll move the car so I can't find it just so she can watch me panic. Grumpy Old Goat says, we've got some time before Artemis 2 returns. The crew that picks them up in the ocean should be dressed up in Planet of the Apes costumes just for fun. That would be good. Have them dressed as aliens? Oh, that would be great. Shane says, great band. Thank you, man. Is that Shane from Barry Mountain? Talking about a song he picked. Lance says, hey, John, what was the last bumper song? People always call them buffer songs, but it's bumper, like a bumper on your car.
Yeah, and let me look this up. But I also, every day we put out a playlist.
Yeah, go look at the 99.5 social media or John Burt's personal social media. He lists off all the songs we play every single day. He puts a lot of work into that, so y'all go check that out.
It's My Last Serenade.
No. The one that Shane picked.
Oh, the one that Shane picked.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. Testament of Steel, Victory in Jesus. I started following them.
Good stuff. Looking. Leslie says, we go at 7 a.m. Hey, now. Talking about the services. Bubba Rumble says, Trish is the Swami of March Madness brackets. What is Swami? Is that somebody that predicts the future? Is that Ramaswamy? Whatever happened to Vivek Ramaswamy, by the way?
Yeah.
He just kind of disappeared. Trucker Jack says, I think we did land on the moon. There's no way all the people involved in a cover-up that big could keep their mouths shut about it all these years. It goes against human nature. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that our government is covered up, and there's a lot of people that were involved with it. So, there are also groups, Scientology, Freemasons, like, there's a lot of stuff out there where people have been able to keep secrets. He says you can't open your spacesuit. Bama Phoenix says Andrew should go to the moon and perform some exploratory experiments. Exploratory? Is that a word? Or am I not saying that right?
Exploratory? I'm not sure I'm familiar with that term.
Steve says, hear me out. They release the pea in space and then waters another planet that creates life, and boom, aliens. Little pea aliens.
Made of urine. They can call them uranites.
Urine aliens.
From the planet Uranus.
Taylor says, very disappointed in y'all. You missed the perfect segue for Alabama Men's Clinic with the peeing in space segment. Yeah, it's a little early. Chris says, what's the name of this mobile key business Jeremy Moncrief runs? I could give him some business. Let me tell you right now, and make sure when you call him, you mention me, and then maybe he'll give me my key for free. That's the way it works in my world. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna pay him. But no, he's not a sponsor of the show, but he's just a general. He's a good guy that's really bailed me out. It's called Automotive Key Solutions. That's the name of the business. And if you just look up Jeremy Moncrief on Facebook, that's ultimately how I found him. I think I had a friend suggest him to me. But yeah, it's the automotive. What did I just say? Automotive Key Solutions, and he can come to wherever you're at. I think he's maybe located around Leeds or Moody, but he'll go wherever. So, Wanda says, "How do you leave your keys on top of your car and then run them over?" Well, I left them on top of the car. They fell off, and then
Wait, how did you run them over?
I
Oh, they were close to your push switch, close enough where you could crank it, right?
oh yeah, because it was on top of the car, it let me crank the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it starts going beep, I had that also happen with my Sonata. And then there was another instance where I was taking Peyton to go see Tennessee versus Georgia at Neyland Stadium. And we had just left. It was actually my Aunt Julie that you met over the weekend. She gave me the tickets.
Yeah, sweet Julie.
And I left my keys on top of the car after getting gas on that trip. We had just left Buc-ee's and got on the interstate, and I heard something go, ching. I heard this rattle on top of the car. And I was like, that was weird. What was that? Peyton's like, I don't know what it was. And then before I got to the next exit, it hit me. I was like, oh, I left my keys on top of the car. I pulled over at the next exit, and I had a Bobcat, like a Bobcat dealership keychain. It was like a thick plastic keychain, and it had slid down the back of my car and caught the lip of my trunk right there where the back window is.
What?
And it was still hanging on. Saved the entire trip. Because if my keys would have got smashed or lost on the interstate, we wouldn't have been going to Knoxville. We'd already booked our room and everything.
Man, the man was looking out for you that day.
Yeah, he was. KC, if I was on that ship when I went around the dark side of the moon, I'd be playing Pink Floyd. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Walter says, the moon has no dark side. There is a side that always faces the earth, but it isn't any darker than the rest of the moon. Is that the case?
Yeah, I guess that would make sense because, with it not having the sun shine on it the way it's set up, it would be dark all the time on that sign.
Bama says excretory. That was the word he was trying to say.
Excretory.
He said, "You freaking wordsmith." Great show. Learn words. Whatever. I mean, y'all know I can't pronounce words. It's not my thing, dude. It's not my thing. All right, if you want to get in, 205-545-9950. That's 545-9950. Savannah Guthrie releasing a heartbreaking message for Easter as her mother's still missing. I don't know if you saw that. It's about 7 minutes long, and it almost seemed like it was going to go in this direction of she has lost her faith in God or wonders if God's still there because of the pain that she's going through with her mother missing and everything else, but then turns it around and honestly gives a pretty powerful message about how, the pain that Jesus went through being crucified, and then the pain that his mother and his loved ones went through for 3 days to the greatest day of all, which is him rolling that stone away and rising from the grave. I think in the secular world, I think people concentrate on Christmas being the biggest holiday of the year, but if you really put it in perspective, Easter's probably the biggest. I mean,
that's the reason for it's like sorrow to joy.
The biggest moment in history,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest comeback story in history.
Yes,
and
yes.
All of us would be looking at a very bleak future if it weren't for that day so many years ago. So Savannah Guthrie put that out. Donald Trump also put out an Easter message saying Happy Easter to all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. It was a video that he put out, a couple minutes long, and it was pretty good. It didn't get a lot of traction because of another tweet that he put out, which I'll read for you here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody concentrated on that, and a lot of people online, just because they're always looking to condemn Donald Trump, tried to convince people that the other tweet was his Easter message, which it was not. It was all part of the art of the deal, I do believe. You've probably seen it, but if you haven't, I'll read it for you in a minute. But even the Democrats on Easter are trying to forget about Joe Biden, leaving him out of their Easter message. The Democrats' Twitter handle posted a pic, and everything's about politics for them. So even in their Easter message, they had to take a shot at Donald Trump. And what they posted was a picture with the caption, "Better Times at the White House." And it's a picture from behind of Barack Obama and the Easter Bunny standing side by side looking at the Washington Monument, saying, "Better times at the White House," to, say that now that Donald Trump's president, it's awful at the White House. Everything's bad, gloom and doom and everything else. And I couldn't help but think, like, they keep skipping over Biden in these posts. It's almost like they don't even acknowledge him. They just go straight back to Barack Obama. And why wouldn't you? I mean, during Joe Biden's term, you remember when the Biden White House celebrated trans people instead of celebrating Easter?
Yeah.
They did Trans Remembrance Day on Easter Sunday.
Remember what? Remember their pronouns? I mean, that's just
And then on that
sacrilegious.
same day, or I guess maybe the day after, the Easter Bunny had to go get Joe Biden as he was wandering off to go talk to children, as he often does. And then when the Easter Bunny
Sniff their
grabbed
hair.
him, it startled him. And he was like, "Oh!" But yeah, man, what a bunch of sick individuals. To talk about Trans Day, to make Easter Sunday Trans Day. And this is the same president that had a trans dude flashing his tatas, his fake tatas, on the White House lawn. I mean, they talk about, oh, Donald Trump's not presidential, this, that, and the other, and he says bad words on Twitter. And I'm like, dude, everybody that says that says nothing about the Trans Day that was declared by Joe Biden on Easter.
Yep.
So spare me your fake outrage, because I'm not buying it. You just got a touch of Trump derangement syndrome that you can't seem to diagnose. So sorry. But even if we do skip over Joe Biden, Barack Obama was a horrible, horrible president. And really, he's the ringleader of all the corruption that we've seen over the past several years, and probably should be in prison. He sent out his Easter message, and he said, to everyone celebrating Easter,
Oh, boy.
Michelle and I wish you a joyful holiday filled with reminders of the enduring power of faith and hope. Now, as I read that, did you notice anything missing from that?
Yeah, what was that name? There was a name missing.
Oh, that's it. Jesus Christ. He failed to mention Jesus Christ at all in his Easter message. Is anybody surprised by that? Anybody? Easter is about Jesus, as we just pointed out. We're called as Christians, or we're called Christians, and Easter is a celebration of Christ's resurrection from the dead.
Yes, it is.
He couldn't even bring himself to mention Christians in his posts. So if you can't even bring yourself to say it, maybe just don't say anything at all. You'd have been better off not posting anything. No, I bet you nobody would have noticed.
Or he would have gotten hammered.
But only Obama can post a Christian holiday post without any mention of Jesus. And faith and hope, not to mention, are not abstract concepts. They're it's a person, and his name is Jesus. And Barack Obama can't seem to utter those words. The reason for the season. But yet Barack Obama says it's just a reminder of the enduring power of faith and hope. That's all. Nothing about this Jesus fella. And some people say, you're reading too far into it or whatever. I don't care. I think Obama does that stuff intentionally. He's not stupid. And some other people can't help themselves. City of Houston, for instance. Just we're talking about tweets here. They put out a tweet, which they've now deleted, referring to Easter as just the spring holiday. It's just a spring holiday. They put out important announcement. Due to the spring holiday, City of Houston offices will be closed on Friday, April 3rd. Not due to Easter, but due to the spring holiday. Yet when there is a Muslim holiday, they'll make a big grand post about it. They put it happy. How do you pronounce it? Happy Eid al-Fitr, fighter, however they pronounce it. It was one of their recent holidays. It's a much more appealing post. In theirs, they just posted a picture of City Hall with a standard blue text across of it. Due to the spring holiday, City of Houston offices will be closed on Friday. But and I'm looking at more City of Houston posts. They couldn't even write the words Good Friday or Lent or Jesus Christ, but they'll never miss a celebratory Islamic holiday. Yeah, how about that? That's Democrats for you, though. They're in the business of pandering. All right, big rescue over the weekend. I want to talk a little bit about that when we get back on the other side. It's The Line, Talk 99.5. Don't move.
Then we're dead in the water.
I mean, we're dead in the water.
Shut up.
So, Bert and I were talking during the break, and he hit the wrong button, and it was like, we're dead in the water. We were talking about TikTok because, as I just stated, that we're doing TikTok live, and I'm trying to do it for like an hour during the show each day. And if you want to watch, it gives me the opportunity to talk to you guys during the break. And so, if you want to come on there and ask questions or just hear us BS or whatever, you can do that. But I keep getting hit with restrictions, and I got hit with a new one a moment ago for whatever I was talking about last segment, which was Barack Obama and the Easter Bunny and all that. And it said, your live has been hit with restrictions due to misinformation. It says multiple violations will result in your live being ended. So apparently I'm putting out misinformation according to TikTok, which is ridiculous. I'm trying to do a public service here. I'm trying to give the people an opportunity to interact with us. And who knows if anybody can even find my TikTok account now with all these restrictions. It's at Andrew Mclain Who, if you want to try to find it. At Andrew Mclain Who, WHO. And so hook that up if you will. Another Easter post from Donald Trump. He said, God bless our troops and happy Easter to all. And this was after we found out uh, second fighter jet pilot was found. He said, we got him. My fellow Americans, over the past several hours, the United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history for one of our incredible crew member officers, who also happens to be a highly respected colonel, and who I am thrilled to let you know is now safe and sound. This brave warrior was behind enemy lines in the treacherous mountains of Iran, being hunted down by our enemies, who were getting closer and closer by the hour, but was never truly alone because his commander in chief, Secretary of War, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and fellow warfighters were monitoring his location 24 hours a day and diligently planning for his rescue. At my direction, the U.S. military sent dozens of aircraft armed with the most lethal weapons in the world to retrieve him. He sustained injuries, but he will be just fine. The miraculous search and rescue operation comes in addition to a successful rescue of another brave pilot yesterday, which we did not confirm because we did not want to jeopardize our second rescue operation. This is the first time in military memory that two U.S. pilots have been rescued separately deep in enemy territory. We will never leave an American warfighter behind. The fact that we were able to pull off both of these operations without a single American killed or even wounded just proves once again that we have achieved overwhelming air dominance and superiority over Iranian skies. 205-545-9950. Cover All RV Services. Man, I love Cover All, especially this time of year. First of all, you got Talladega coming up just in, what is it? Talladega's in a couple weeks, I believe, which means your boy Steve West is going to be out there calling the shots. If you've ever been to Talladega and you listen to the PA system, that is Steve West telling you that so-and-so's, Kevin Harvick's, coming around turn 3.
Yep.
Or whatever. He's been doing that for a long time. But if you are a Talladega person, this is a good opportunity for you to call my buddy Dylan and get him just to swing by and check your camper out, do an inspection. A lot of people just want their RV inspected. It's a simple process. It's affordable. He just goes through and makes sure everything's on the up and up, because you don't want anything to happen like you be on your way down there or something go wrong while you're camping and you don't necessarily know how to fix it or you don't have the tools to fix it. Go ahead and get Dylan to check it out. Or if you got questions about your camper, your RVs, your pop-ups, any kind of recreational vehicle, call him. He'll answer whatever you need. If you got a camper that's just out of commission, maybe the floor's rotting out or you got a big hole in the roof or what, he can do all that. I'm telling you, if it's camper related, Dylan's got you. And outside of Talladega, some of y'all just ready to go camping and hit the road and all that kind of stuff. Keep this phone number in your back pocket, because if something goes sideways, you want to be able to get with somebody who not only knows everything about RVs and campers, but will come to you. You don't have to take your RV to him. You don't have to take it to some shop. He comes to you and gets to work on it. And that's why my boy Dylan's just the best. I've known him for years. I know him to be a stand-up guy, and he's going to take care of you. Just make sure you mention my name when you talk to him and get yourself hooked up. Cover All RV Services, 205-224-2268. That's 205-224-2268. And on Facebook, Cover All RV Services. You can message him on Facebook as well. The rest of that message from Donald Trump said, we will never leave an American warfighter behind. The fact that we were able to pull off both these operations without a single American killed or even wounded just proves once again that we have achieved overwhelming air dominance and superiority over the Iranian skies. This is a moment that all Americans, Republican, Democrat, and everyone else should be proud of and unified around. We truly have the best, most professional, and lethal military in the history of the world. God bless America. God bless our troops, and happy Easter to all. That was not his official Easter message. I told you he posted a video, which was actually, unlike Barry Soetoro, talked about Jesus Christ and about how he is risen and the reason for the season, not just some spring holiday, as they call it in Houston, Texas. So that's out there. Speaking of the Iranian operation, you've got Trump going to be joining top military officials for what they've dubbed a historic news conference following the rescue of that fighter pilot in about 20 minutes. It's scheduled for 20 minutes from now. Maybe it'll run a little later than that before they start. But we will see what happens. He did post on Truth Social confirming the dangerous and complex rescue operations, an elite mission deep inside hostile Iranian territory. He said, we have rescued the seriously wounded and really brave F-15 crew member officer from deep inside the mountains of Iran. The Iranian military was looking hard. And remember, the Iranian government had put out a bounty for those fighter pilots. They said, hey, we will give you a very nice reward if you can bring us that fighter pilot, because they wanted to use that service member, that colonel, as a hostage, which would have changed the complexity of this whole thing. So thank God they were able to find that colonel. Said the Iranian military was looking hard in big numbers and getting close. He is a highly respected colonel. This type of raid is seldom attempted because of the danger to man and equipment. It just doesn't happen. The second raid came after the first one when we rescued the pilot in broad daylight, also unusual, spending 7 hours over Iran. An amazing show of bravery and talent by all. I will be having a news conference with the military at the Oval Office Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. God bless our great military warriors. This was, this is why I'm interested in this press conference, because I hope they go into detail as to what they had to do in order to rescue these pilots. There were firefights between the our service members and Iranian soldiers, and many Iranian soldiers died. I don't know how many, but multiple did. And so it was a down and dirty fight to get these guys saved. And so the members of the military that were involved in that, the commanders and everybody else, deserve high praise for what they pulled off. They had their eyes on these pilots from the moment that they crashed, so they knew where they were, which also gave them the benefit of using that air superiority to hold back any Iranian soldiers that were getting close to their guy to buy time to get him out of there. So we'll see what happens with the press conference when it pops up. What we do know is, according to Fox News' Jennifer Griffin, she said no Americans were killed during the operation. She added that different branches of the U.S. military were involved in the rescue. She said it was a very complex operation to retrieve the downed service members. Videos on X showed the mission's difficulty and violence. During an interview with Axios, Donald Trump went into more detail about the mission, saying this included the fact that the U.S. at first worried that a message from the stranded pilot of the F-15 shot down by Iran was a trap set by the Iranians to lure U.S. forces into a bloodbath. Trump revealed the pilot gave a short message on the radio that seemed, quote unquote, unusual. Trump told Axios, quote, he said, "Power be to God." Trump said what he said on the radio sounded like something a Muslim would say. And that's interesting, because if you think they say power be to God, that's not normally something we say. That seems like something that someone of a different background would say, especially if they don't speak English and are trying to translate something to English. You know, it can be choppy and sound a little different once it gets on the other side. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, a U.S. defense official later confirmed Trump's account, but said the phrase was actually slightly different, which was, quote, God is good. And that would make more sense that the fighter pilot would say over his radio, God is good, because he, at a time where he's stranded and it's just you and God at that point, and you are relying on him and your faith to get you through what at any time could be your last breath. I can't even imagine what would be going through that soldier's head at that moment. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth also posted God is good on X the following morning. God was indeed not only good to the courageous pilots, but also all of the soldiers that took part in that mission, because it was just another example of how faith can and does empower people. And that is maybe one of the most important takeaways from that rescue mission. And on the backside of Easter, I think we all need to remind ourselves how much of a difference faith can make.
Yes.
And you know this, John Bird. You know it from your 15-month stint on a radio. Faith will take you a long way. and take you out of some of the darkest places. And it's there for you. You just gotta grab it. You know,
Hmm.
it's something that it's not gonna be given to you. You just, I mean, it's there.
Yeah, you got
You
to.
just
I
gotta
always
take it.
call it leaning into God. You got to just lean in when those times are tough.
Now, the Daily Mail, which is a publication, and if I'm not mistaken, the Daily Mail put out the Christy Nome stuff. They've had some hot item um, pieces that have been put out over the past week or so, especially with a lot of the changes in the administration, the scandals with, again, Christy Noem's husband. They put out an article that sparked outrage tied back to this rescue mission of the fighter pilots, pretty much downplaying what had happened with these brave service members. They put out in their tweet, they put the article out, and in the caption, the Daily Mail said Trump's daring extraction of U.S. airmen trapped in Iran almost failed and cost dozens of American lives. And I thought, after such a sweeping success by our brave men and women in uniform, the Daily Mail thought to say, well, it was almost a failure. Now, how about almost nothing? How about patting the soldiers on the back, patting this colonel on the back and saying, what an amazing job was done? Not failure. There was no failure whatsoever. Yet that's what the media always tends to lean into. So Trump's rescue of U.S. airmen trapped in Iran was a success with no American casualties. But here's the Daily Mail saying it may have been a success, but it could have possibly failed and cost American lives. Just in case you don't hate the media enough, the Daily Mail sounds more disappointed than the IRGC almost. As a matter of fact, that Team Trump Twitter account, Rapid Response 47 Twitter account, posted a tweet about that particular article saying, quote, "You sick freaks. No lives were lost because America's war fighters are the most powerful, lethal, and precise fighting force ever known to man. God bless our heroes." Yep. It's just the media, man. They've been on a roll. There was another thing. I got a tweet from a friend, good friend of mine. Love this guy. And he sends me a question. He's like, "Is Trump in ICU? Is he in the hospital?" And I thought, well, that's not good. So I immediately go to my news sources. I also go to X. X is a good place for information, depending on who you follow, because, and I had this discussion with somebody else over the weekend. You got to be careful and not fall into the algorithm trap, because if you find yourself digging into liking, spending too much time on a particular post that is cockamamie bullish, then your algorithm then says to itself, "Oh, this person likes this kind of cockamamie bullish. We're going to give him more of it." And so you end up clouding up the real information with the cockamamie stuff, and you get that reinforced over and over and over to the point that you think everybody feels that the cockamamie bullish is actually legitimate. You see what I'm saying? Like, it can create this echo chamber where you start seeing just BS all the time or false reports that aren't true, but you start to feel like subconsciously that they are true because you feel like everybody's talking about it. That happens to a lot of people. And it's not your fault, other than, you're just looking at the cockamamie stuff too much. And so your algorithm says, "Oh, they want more of this. Let me give them more of it." I think that's what happens with things like Donald Trump being at Walter Reed. A few tweets went out about Ed Krasenstein. Everybody knows him. He's a paid operative by the Democrat Party to get on social media and put out DNC talking points, right? Very anti Trump, TDS, all that. He puts out a tweet, says, breaking. Speculation is rising that Donald Trump is at Walter Reed Medical Center. He said, many are speculating that Trump has paid a visit to Walter Reed Hospital because of his lack of presence during a major war, his absence from Mar-a-Lago during a weekend, and the fact that the White House has issued a lid on the press for the day. Additionally, his social media presence has been low. What is your thoughts? Over and over. There's another one, Keith Edwards. Holy ish, the White House kicked press out and the roads in D.C. were closed down earlier this morning. What's going on with the president? This was on Saturday. Another one, unconfirmed reports of Trump at Walter Reed Hospital, but my brain be like, so you're saying there's a chance. You know, just typical DNC talking points. Another one, Mark Slapinski. Donald Trump is reportedly at an unknown hospital due to a sudden medical episode, according to reports. And I'm like, and again, I get this allegation or this speculation sent to me, and I'm like, I don't really see anything about it other than these jabronis on social media that are going on and on about Trump in the hospital with no proof of Trump being in the hospital. So what's the deal? Then again, Rapid Response 47, one of the White House accounts, has to come out and speak out against false reports yet again, saying, quote, deranged liberals cook up insane conspiracy theories when POTUS goes 12 hours without speaking to the press. Shows you how hard he works, by the way. The fact that he went 12 hours without talking to the press or making a public appearance, and their go-to is, he's got to be in the hospital. The tweet says, they said nothing when Biden routinely went 12 days without speaking to the press. Fear not, President Trump literally never stops working. Posted with a picture of the Marine standing outside of the door of the West Wing, indicating the president is working inside. Never happened. Just BS. Be careful. This is my point. Be careful with social media because it'll put you in an echo chamber that some people just can't get out of. 205-545-9950. I'm going to try to get your phone calls here in a moment, maybe on the other side, depending on how this press conference goes. Y'all hang with me. I promise I get you and love you a long time. But I need to read you this tweet because this is going to be relevant when it comes to the press conference. And this is the tweet, the famous tweet that everybody was freaking out about. And they're like, oh my gosh, he said this on Easter, blah, 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 blah. He basically dropped the final strike deadline yesterday and said Iran faces a power plant day reckoning. As of 8 p.m. Eastern time, that would be 7 p.m. tonight, is a deadline he put out. He said Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. He said, praise be to Allah, which is, he's not praising Allah. He's probably taking a shot at them, saying that that's what you're going to be saying if you don't open the effing strait. And because he said effing strait, everybody's like, oh my God, Donald Trump said the F word, blah, 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 blah. In a follow-up post, he hammered the deadline home. He said, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, ! So he's not playing around. So we'll see what he says at this press conference with military leaders in coordination with that deadline, which I anticipate he will reiterate, saying that you've got approximately, what is that? That's 7 hours from now, John Bird. Iran's got 7 hours to get their ish.
I'm going to be watching.
Get their ish together and figure it out. TCW Construction, TCW. That's my boy Trent. Love, love, love what TCW does. If you are watching us on YouTube, I want to show you something real quick. I'm going to do this fast like and in a hurry. If you're not watching us on YouTube, what's wrong with you, man? Get it together. Go to TCW Construction Co.com. TCWConstructionCo.com. This is the website. You'll see beautiful projects, outdoor projects of any kind that you can think of. The list goes on and on. He's got the services tab. You can click on that and see all the different things. But get with him on outdoor construction, flattening land, hauling rocks, retaining walls, patio layouts, fire pits, whatever it is. 205-389-3536. 205-389-3536. Let them know Andrew sent you.